Hello, beautiful human. Thanks for clicking on our conversation with Lauren Spencer Smith. We have a lot to discuss, including her hit song, Fingers Crossed. Also, a brand new song that's on the way. It's called Flowers, her debut album, also on the way. And yeah, I'm so excited. She has a lot to say. Also, heads up, this interview and all of our interviews live first and live on Amazon's brand new radio platform called AMP. Hang out with us every day, starting at 3 o'clock West Coast. Just click the link below and use the code Beautiful Human to get in. And while you're down there, leave your honest feedback on our interview in the comment section. Hit like on this video, and please subscribe. Thanks. Okay. Lauren Spencer Smith, here we go. Hello, beautiful human. I'm so excited. We're here hanging out in the studio with Lauren Spencer Smith.
Hey.
You have 3 names.
I love it.
That's like
I
a big
used to hate
deal.
it. Like,
really?
okay, in middle school, I don't know, this might have just been like a my thing, but you would put the initials of your friends, or like the initials of your boyfriends, and everybody in middle school like wouldn't put mine in because like I had 3 and you were only supposed to have 2.
What?
And I would just like feel so excluded, and I'd be like, why do I have like 2 last names? I don't like it. But now it's like kind of iconic, and everybody's like, hey, LSS. Like everybody says LSS.
And everybody in internal conversations and preparing for your arrival have they refer to you solely as LSS.
Yeah, I love it.
It is really, it's something. It's
Yeah.
royal.
It makes me feel like important
Yeah.
having 3 names.
I mean, you kind of are. How does it, I mean, you're 18.
Yeah,
Like such a baby.
I know. I don't feel like a baby, but then there's times where I do.
Why do you
Feel
not
like
feel
a
like a baby?
I just feel like I grew up really fast. Like I got a job at like a really, really young age when I was like 11 or 12.
Doing what?
I worked in a restaurant. So
what-
at first I started bussing. It was called Smitty's.
Cool.
Cleaning tables, and then I was just so talkative and like would randomly start taking orders that my boss was like, "Do you want to just like be a server?" So I was like 12, 13, coming home with like $300 in tips, and like I always made money. Like my parents got divorced at a young age, and so I just didn't have money. And my parents were like, "Well, if you want something, you need to go work for it." And so I just walked in somewhere and was like, "Hey, I'd love to just start cleaning tables, like whatever I can do. Like I just want to make money." He was like, "Okay," and that was how I got my first phone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I very much relate to that. My parents also
Yeah.
divorced, and like
They all do. I don't know anyone with together parents anymore. It saddens me.
I mean, honestly, the rate of success is so low.
So low.
Are you afraid to be in a relationship?
Oh my God. So I'm in a relationship,
Oh, Mazel
but
tov.
I just wrote, I know, love him.
But that's right. A lot of your recent music is about good love energy.
Yeah. And I just actually wrote a song called 41% because we randomly looked up on Google and it said like the world statistic is that 41% of people get divorced. And so the ending line is like, I don't want to be like the 41%. It's obviously higher in like North America,
Yeah.
but there's countries like, India and stuff like that, like that's arranged marriages, like they're not really getting divorced with
41 is still
Yeah.
high.
41 is insane. It's like 80 something in America. I'm like terrified. My whole life I was like, I'm not getting married because if I don't get married, then I can't get divorced. And it's just a regular breakup. Like, I was so against it for so long.
So, what does this new relationship teach you about love? Like-
Everything, I feel. Like my whole album that I'm releasing this year is about how I met my boyfriend. And I thought like my career's over. I'm not going to be sad. You're going to make me way too happy. I'm not going to write any sad songs. But all it did was like if my boyfriend bought me flowers, I would think about how somebody didn't buy me flowers or they only bought me flowers when they were sorry. Like I would just compare everything, and it just gave me so much song inspo to write. Like my boyfriend has taught me absolutely everything about how you're supposed to be treated, even just like on a friendship level. Like people should respect your boundaries and people should care about you, and if someone wants to put in the effort, they will. Like my boyfriend is like the best of all boyfriends.
Ooh, I got
Yeah.
goosebumps.
He's the best. I'm obsessed. I'm in love. I'm in my like honeymoon phase forever.
2 questions. One, I mean, in terms of like what that does for inspiration, I it's really funny. Like it good things happen, and you still instantly compare it to similar situations that you've been through. So all of the music you're writing is about yourself.
Yeah.
How do you meet this person?
Yeah, I met him at the gym.
Sick.
Yeah.
What?
Like I kind of knew him like around the gym, and then we just kind of started talking online, and then we knew each other from the gym, and then we just started talking. But when I first met him, we started talking because he's older than me. So I was like, oh God, he's going to find out I'm like younger than him. He's going to like hate me. Like, I was like so awkward about it. And we were just like talking nonstop. We'd like FaceTime every night. And then we were like, okay, let's hang out. So we hung out once. And then I went to Europe for 2 months because I
Wow.
had music stuff to do. So I already was like, this is over. Like, nothing ever works out for me. Like, I can't be happy. And my boyfriend, like, the whole time was like, no, like, we'll still talk through the whole thing. Like, I think we can make it work. And long story short, we did. And the second I came back from Europe, I, like, went to his house. And now we're dating.
Yo. Even the fact that he was like down to make that work. Some guys would have been like,
Insane. They would have given up on the spot. Like,
yeah.
my boyfriend was so, because I was willing to make it work. And there's a part of him I feel that was like, I don't think she will want to make it work. But I was trying to explain to him the whole time, like, this is my job. I always have to travel. So whether I'm with you or I'm with somebody else, I still have to make it work. So as long as you're willing to make it work, it's going to work. And it worked.
And how long have you guys been together?
I think we've been together for like 6 months now.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
We're on a roll.
6 months and counting.
6 months and counting.
We're still at that like
Yeah.
fetus stage, or we're counting in months.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like we've always just felt like we've known each other for a long time though. Like even now I'm like, oh, it just feels like I've been dating him for like a year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Gosh, I want love.
I love love. I'm so obsessed with it right now.
Is your debut album done?
Basically, like I have some like vocals to re-record and stuff like that. And I have a couple of their concepts in my head that I'm like, I need to write those, whether they're for the album or not, but I need to write them before the album comes out, just in case one of them is just meant to be on the album. But for the most part, yeah, we have tons of songs to choose from, and we're trying to buckle down and nail which
Wow.
ones we want.
How many songs do you have like pending
Oh,
that could make it onto the
Too
album?
many, like over 20.
Oh,
And I have to nail it down to like 13 or 14. And I don't know how I'm going to do it.
sick.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm very excited. It's like I'm glad. I'd way rather have more music than come short and not have any, like enough music.
How
so.
do you tell when you're done needing to create for this body of
Yeah.
work?
I was wondering that the whole time I was writing. I was like, when am I going to be done? But now I feel like I have so many songs that conceptually tell a story with each other that it was almost like I kind of broke up with this other dude we didn't really date. And then when I met my boyfriend, I started writing all these like comparative songs, just comparing the two situations. And now I feel like I'm at the end of comparing the trauma. Like I'm happy in my relationship. There are things where I'm like, I still have trauma responses for certain things, but I'm not like, oh, my boyfriend's going to break up with me. Like, I know he loves me. He's not going to turn around and like break up with me tomorrow like other people used to do. Like, I've accepted that my boyfriend just cares about me. And so once I accepted that, I stopped writing songs almost that were comparative, and now all the comparative songs just flow together so well that I'm like, I think this is the album.
So it's just gonna be this stage of you comparing.
Yeah, there's
then
the
period.
beginning of it is a little bit of like sad breakup-y, I've never been in love, and then it kind of tells a story of comparing the two. But it also in so many sad ways. Like there's one happy song that the whole vibe is just happy. You cannot, take it in a sad way whatsoever. But every other song, you would listen to it and think it's a sad song because it's more of my boyfriend did something nice. I compared it, and then I wrote something about the sad side of comparing it, not the happy side.
How is this body of work connected to Fingers Crossed? Is it?
Same dude. We're writing about the same dude.
Wow.
So it's definitely connected. Like, definitely the struggles of getting into a relationship with my boyfriend now, having to just unlearn so many things. I learned those negative things from the person I wrote Fingers Crossed about. So it all feels like it has been the last 8 months of my life. Just the whole album is the last story of my life.
And do you feel like you're experiencing this alone or with other people in tow?
A little bit, I felt like I was experiencing it with my boyfriend because he has been through similar things, and he was the one like watching me have mental breakdowns and being like, I can't be in love, like, being a teenager. But I definitely felt like I was kind of going through it alone. The more I release music, the more I realize I'm not alone because I write it thinking nobody's going to relate to this. And then when I put it out, everybody's like, oh my goodness, no one talks about the aftermath of a breakup and getting into a new one. Like, I totally relate to this. And then I think, oh my goodness, so many other people have been through this. I was not going through it alone. But in the moment, I definitely felt like I was going through it.
Do you feel like there's people waiting to hear the rest of the story because
think
of
so.
what you've built through Fingers Crossed, and obviously before that with Idol and stuff?
Yeah.
But like, like I think two viral moments kind of change your life forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's you singing Lady Gaga in your dad's
Yeah.
car, and then it's you posting a snippet of Fingers
Yeah.
Crossed.
Yeah. I definitely feel like a lot of my fans also think that Fingers Crossed is kind of like a screw you song. Like, yeah, he had his fingers crossed. Like, I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not. And like, kind of me coming for him. But it was also more of a reflection piece. It was I met my boyfriend, and then I realized, oh, like this person really did not mean it when they said they love me just because of everything they used to do. And so I think once I release my album, they'll realize more. I wasn't going into the studio being like, screw this guy. I was going in reflecting on something that had happened a couple months ago, and it'll just tell the story even better.
Have you been wanting to share the rest of this story
Yeah.
with people so they
Yeah.
can't make up the rest of it in their head?
Yeah. But I also like, I think when you listen to a song, everybody interprets it differently. So
Totally.
I want people to interpret it. If you want Fingers Crossed to be your screw you song, I want Fingers Crossed to be your screw you song. But for people to know me as a person and my personality and what happened to me, I love being open just about my life. I want people to know the true story behind why I wrote it. And then if they want to interpret it differently, they totally can.
You seem so old. And I mean that like in the most like with the most respect. Like
Yeah.
obviously like people under a certain age, you take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
People like probably over 25 do not,
Yeah.
but under 25 do.
Yeah.
And it's wild. You seem like an old soul, but my gut is saying it's because you've definitely been through a lot.
Definitely trauma.
Yeah.
It's always trauma. People are like, you seem so old. I'm like, trauma, my childhood.
Totally.
Yeah. It totally is.
And,
yeah.
people would say the same thing to me. I started this show when I was 14,
Mm.
and like I would be thrown into like crazy fucking situations all the
Yeah.
time.
Insane.
And then people would be like, "Oh, you handle it well." And it wasn't until like later in therapy I was like, "I definitely handled that well because
Yeah.
like, it was nothing compared to all the other shit
Yeah.
I've been through."
No, like sometimes when I'm in therapy, I'll say something and my therapist is like, Lauren, like that's a really big deal. Like I can't believe you went through that. And I'm like, damn, that was a big deal. Like it doesn't feel like it was a big deal, but that's low key kind of a big deal for like a 14-year-old.
Has therapy helped you make music?
Yeah. So actually, oddly enough, I started going back to therapy because I watched Joshua Bassett's interview with you.
Oh, I'm gonna get
And
goosebumps.
yeah, no, seriously. I
Oh.
went to therapy like last summer, basically lied to my therapist and just like said I was fine, stopped going. And I was like, screw therapy. Like, it's useless. I don't want to go. I wasn't ready to talk about my emotions. And then I watched Josh's thing and just the way he was talking about life, he just like, I got chills. Me and my best friend both individually watched it on our own and then later came to each other. She was like, did you watch Josh's interview? And I was like, yeah, dude, like I just signed up for therapy. And she was like, me too.
Whoa.
Like, I literally watched that and was like, I think I need to go to therapy because he seems like he's okay because he learned all these things from therapy.
By the way, he's such an incredible human being.
Yeah, he just seems like such an incredible human being. I'm a fan.
Me as well. Forever. Hello, Joshua Bassett. I know you're out there
Hey,
watching.
Josh.
He's is so incredible, but that makes me happy. But
Yeah.
also, therapy was that your first time going to therapy ever?
In the summer I went and then I like lied, but it was my first time like going back and actually being like, I'm going to talk about my issues
And commit.
to it.
Very similar. Weirdly, like I went and I tried it out for a few months, and I didn't feel like I was being. I felt like I was afraid to be totally honest with my therapist.
100%. I did the same thing.
Mainly because I thought I was going to scare them.
Yep.
And at one point, I was trying two therapists at once, and I was like, "Am I going to scare both these people?" Like,
No, seriously. I was terrified. I just was like, I can't cry in front of this. Like, you join therapy, and it's not like talking to your best friend about your problems.
No.
It's like you're actually getting help, and that is like such a terrifying feeling. But I was like, I have to commit. Joshua Bassett did it. Like, it helped him. Like, you're going to get help.
how's it going?
Yeah, I love therapy. Like, I'm like 5 times a week. Let's go. Sign me up. I would go to therapy every day if I could.
How have you been taking everything that's been going on? Because the truth is, you have a hit record on your hands. You have a major record deal. And, okay, I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
2019, a song goes viral, but like, how many years prior to 2019 were you singing
Yeah.
and exploring what it meant to like create music?
I mean, I actually didn't start, like, I've always songwritten just at a young age. Like, there's videos of me at, like, my little piano trying to write songs, but I didn't start legit songwriting in sessions until about, like, just almost over a year ago. And so I always sang in the car. I sang everywhere around town. I was always singing, like, just everywhere at home. since I was like 3.
What do you learn about yourself as an artist from making covers? Because like you
Mhm.
do some awesome covers.
Thank you.
I mean, you have 2 albums released. Well, you
Mhm.
technically have 3 bodies of work that has covers.
Yeah.
Your EP, I think it's Mixed Emotions, has all covers except for
Mhm.
one. But Unplugged, I mean,
Mhm.
Volume 2 and wins you a Juno.
Yeah.
And it's a covers album.
Yeah, that one was actually I did like just a show in my hometown and we just took the audio from the show and then put it on Spotify. I was in like a weird space where I wasn't really songwriting, like I wasn't doing my own songs because I was a little too young to constantly be going to the States and just like, writing with different people.
Yeah.
But people wanted music, so we were like, okay, like we'll just do some covers for everybody and like trying to do it low budget because I wasn't making a full-time income, so I can't just rent a studio for
Yeah.
$10,000. So we were like, what is like the cheapest way to give my followers what they want while also being budget friendly?
But do you feel like you fell into having an audience through this Lady Gaga cover?
Yeah, that was definitely like every time somebody asks me like how did you start, I'm like that whole video changed my life. Like people just knew who I was and like producers wanted to work with me and writers wanted to work with me. It's just like that was the moment people knew me and then wanted to help me grow myself as an artist.
But you said you're more than just the viral video.
Yeah, I say that all the time.
But like there are 2 defining life and career
Mhm.
moments that are attributed to really big viral
Mhm.
videos. What does Fingers Crossed tell you about virality?
Yeah.
Because this time it's not a cover,
Yeah.
it's your own story.
Yeah, with fingers crossed, I almost get intimidated because I'm so like I set a goal and if I don't hit it, I'm working around it trying to figure out how to hit it like no matter what till the day I die. If I set the goal, I'm hitting the goal unless I die trying. And so when fingers crossed blew up, I'm like so stoked about it, but I'm in my head thinking, "Oh my goodness, if my next song doesn't do as well as fingers crossed, I'm going to be like in straight work mode for like months on end trying to like recreate what happened with fingers crossed when I just need to like accept, okay, fingers crossed is amazing. You can still do amazing with it not reaching fingers crossed or you can do better than it and just like accept what the outcome is." But it's such a weird feeling to go from like 0 to 100 like that. It's just so odd.
Even though like American Idol gives you like a taste
Mhm.
of what it could be, even though like
Yeah.
your season's historic for 2 reasons. One, you're the first Canadian to ever make it as far as you did.
Yay.
And 2, it's the first season of American Idol to have to be done halfway through your
COVID.
fucking house.
Yeah, it was that.
So like it's already like
Yeah.
a crazy show
It
made
was so
even crazier.
reckless.
Yeah.
Like we literally people don't even know this. Like we had to genuinely wake up like hours before. And for me, I was doing it outside on a deck, so I'd have to bring all the equipment back inside every day and reset it up. Like we were being like the sound people, we were being everything. Just me and my dad. Like I was like, what is even like happening? Like we're not even on American Idol. Like we're at my house at the lake. Like what the hell? It was like so odd. But no, like I'm very fortunate that I had different moments. Like I went on Steve Harvey and I was on American Idol. So like I had a feeling of what it was like to be in the industry. I didn't really go from 0 to 100. I felt like I kind of went from 50 to 100. And I was working with people. Like I would go to an event and like, a celebrity would be there. I didn't just randomly.
But it is different though, like people like knowing you from a cover than knowing you for
Yeah.
like your story.
It's so different. And it's just like all these things change in your life. Like when I get off a plane at the airport, like a car picks me up and I'm not like which Uber am I getting, like waiting 13 minutes for my Uber with all my stuff, like somebody's holding a sign that says Lauren Spencer Smith and then I'm like, hey, and they're like, okay, can I carry your bags for you? I'm like, sure. Like it's just so many weird things like that it's so odd, so different. Yeah.
It is crazy because the internet changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
Music's changed your life. Do you remember the first song you actually ever wrote?
Yeah. I think actually the first song I ever wrote was like with one of my friends. Her name was Paige. We were like
Hey.
best friends growing up. We loved Paige. And she had like a grand piano in her house, and she like can play the piano. Like she did piano lessons. Like she's amazing. Her family's like pretty like musically inclined. Um, and we would just like sing songs together. I remember we just wrote some random song about like the rain falling. It's always like everyone uses the same 4 chords. Like everyone that wrote their first song, we all had the same melody and the same 4 chords. But I think one of the first songs I wrote was like with her.
What do you learn about music from Fingers Crossed that you want to take with you?
Mm. I would say a lot of the times I feel like people go into sessions and they write for themselves, which I think is really important. But I think the reason Fingers Crossed did so well is because it resonated with so many people.
Mm.
So now when I go into sessions, I think, what is everybody mad on TikTok right now? Is everybody sad? If everybody's sad, let's write a sad song. If everybody's happy because it's summertime and it seems like everybody's trying to have a hot girl summer, then let's write a song about a hot girl summer. Like, Fingers Crossed made me check in with myself and be like, I need to be in check with what's happening on the internet to make it relatable for other people while also telling a story about myself and making
Totally.
it personal.
In this moment, did you lead with other people, but you led with yourself and just happened to resonate.
Yeah, I just love it myself, and it just happened to resonate. And
Are you afraid of like reversing the system?
not really, like, because I have teased songs since Fingers Crossed.
Flowers.
And, yeah, and people are resonating with it. So I'm like, I think the system's working. I think naturally with Fingers Crossed, just being a teenager and being on the internet so much, I naturally did that in my songwriting, thinking, okay, well, everyone's kind of in a breakup space. It's like weather depression season. I know that's not a thing in LA, but like
No, but
where I live, everywhere else there's weather depression. Like I think I subconsciously thought in my head, because I was writing like, happy songs and love songs around that time too, and randomly I went in that day with this thought of I need to write this. So I think I subconsciously did it, just being a teenager on the internet, knowing that.
soaking it in, but also going through your own stuff.
Yeah.
So how many songs are you currently teasing on TikTok?
Oh God. I think I've teased like 3 recently.
Wow.
Maybe 4.
All expected to be on this album?
Yeah, I'm hoping all of them are on the album.
What do you mean hoping?
Yeah, well, I feel like there's so many that there needs to be a whole discussion, but I'm pretty adamant the ones that I teased are going on the album.
How do you decide which songs make it to tease?
Honestly, usually, sometimes I write the song that day and I'm so stoked on it, and when I get sent the demo, I'm like, yeah, it's going on TikTok, or I'll just be really loving the song and resonating with it myself, and I'll tease it, but it's honestly kind of sporadic and random, but I feel like my fans decide what goes on my album majority of the time. Like,
Through the teasing.
through the teasing. Like, if I post a song 10 times and not a single one does well, I'm like, they don't like it. But if I post it and it gets like 10 million views overnight, I'm like, this is on the album, absolute no question. Like, everybody wants it.
Is it crazy to think that that's like the new way to gauge audience, fan interaction, reaction?
Like, I love it because that's how I started, basically.
Are you one of the architects of it?
I kind of think so. Like, even when my Lady Gaga video went viral, I released a cover of it because everybody commented and was like, we really want this on Spotify. And so then we were like, okay. So we recorded the version. And then the same thing happened with like a Louis Capaldi song.
Yeah.
Everybody commented it. So when TikTok came around, I started posting covers and they would blow up and I'd put it on Spotify. And so I just thought to myself, okay, I guess that's how we'll do it when I write a song.
By the way, also like an old school approach to it, which dates back to like early YouTube covers that are like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the same exact thing of
Same
like
thing.
if you release something and people like it, you like Connor Maynard. There's so many.
Yeah.
Kurt Schneider. I can go through
Yeah.
all Sam Sui, all these people who like created like the cover on YouTube. It's so crazy. It is almost the same.
It's kind of the same. Like, I feel like a lot of people who don't do the teasing thing, like, now kind of get a little bit flustered about it because they're like, I can't do this. But if you don't have a big platform, you can't just release a song and people are going to download it. Like, you have to try to market it yourself on the internet.
Totally.
And have it blow up. And now if that strategy already was working for you, now you have all these followers, like, you can just keep doing that and it just builds more momentum.
But not everybody can write their own music too.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between people who just stay as a cover artist and then like make the transition.
And it's hard. For a lot of people, it's really hard to transition from covers to your own music. I was so terrified for that transition. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it. People only know me for my own stuff or for covers. Are they going to like my stuff? Like, I was so terrified.
Was When They Were Us the first song you ever put out that was yours?
Yeah, so that's actually not mine. Like, somebody wrote that.
Okay.
And I just like kind of sang it.
What was the first song that you ever did?
First time, Back to Friends.
Great record.
Yeah.
So
Thank
good.
you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Wow. Where were you? Like was talking about a relationship, right?
Yeah, same dude.
Yeah.
I wrote that in New York with a bunch of my friends last July.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
The place I received from it was like just wishing you could go back to being, you don't want to like lose the relationship totally.
Mm-hmm. The whole concept of that song was like, I wish I never told you I liked you because now shit's
It ruined it.
Yeah. And now it's like we're in this weird phase of like, what is this? And we're constantly going back and forth. It's like, if I would have just kept my mouth shut, we would just be friends right now. Yeah.
I lost my best friend because I told them I was in love with them.
Never. Anyone who's thinking of telling their best friend that you like them,
Don't
don't
do
do it. Seriously,
I
don't
lost my
do
best
it.
friend of 13 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we even talked. It's going to be a year come June.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so. Also, what I learned from that experience and my boyfriend now is that, like, if somebody likes you, you will know.
Yeah.
Like, from the moment I started talking to my boyfriend, I was like, this dude's into me. And he knew the same thing about me. Like, he complimented me. Like, he did all these things. And when you're, like, friends with someone and you like them, like, you don't realize that they don't do all those things. And you just think, well, maybe they do like me. They're not saying anything. But it's like, if they liked you, they would do those things. You would know. Like, I feel like such an idiot sometimes.
Yeah, you invent something that's not there. You just make up reasons as to
Totally.
why.
Yeah,
Excuses.
why they wouldn't. Yeah, excuses. That's a great song title.
Excuse. Yo, it is a good one.
I'm going to write that. It's going on an
Please do
album.
You're already chock full of songs.
Yeah.
Are you focused on creating other projects too, or are you right now just solely tunnel focused on album?
So right now, album, and I'm also writing a bunch of Christmas songs.
Oh,
I
sick.
really want like a Christmas album
Whoa.
or a Christmas EP. I already have a bunch of Christmas songs, so now I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be an EP. I want it to be an album.
So like original Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So definitely there'll be classics on it, because as you should. Like,
Yes.
I really want to do like a slow piano of like Mistletoe or something like that by Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
But they're all, I know, I think it could be
Well
so
done.
cool. But the
Taste.
Christmas, my Christmas concept is that growing up, loved Christmas. It's my favorite holiday, but because my parents were divorced, it was always so crappy. And so all the concepts are like, you know, I hate being single on the 25th, and like a broke Christmas, which is like when Christmas comes around, you're like, I shouldn't have bought a car in June because now I can't afford to buy my mom a gift. And then you show up and everyone else has money. Like, they're all just concepts about like parents or Christmas was fun until my parents got divorced. Like, random people actually, Christmas is like the best time of year, but everybody I know is stressed.
No, I've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
Christmas brings out the worst in people, and nobody wants to admit it.
Nobody admits
It
it.
heightens your depression, and heightens your loneliness, and heightens your sadness.
Yeah.
It heightens the tension that could be just
Exactly.
existing. You know what? It's great when it's like you and a child, and you get to witness a child opening a gift.
Exactly.
Anything around that, total
Makes
trash.
no sense. And even people, like, for me, it was like, oh, am I going to mom's? Am I going to dad's?
Yeah,
like,
being divorced.
oh, the worst.
Or having the two Christmases, like my dad would like have Christmas on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and then my mom would have real Christmas, and then they'd fight over what gifts they were allowed to get
Yeah.
me. It was like
Yeah.
it was terrible.
It
If you're watching this,
Yeah.
like, I appreciate you trying.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my god.
And it would just like low key, I would see my mom like being stressed because she like couldn't afford to get us
Yes.
gifts, but then she'd buy us things, and then like I would know that now we can't afford to eat next week. It would like be like a whole thing, and like halfway through the day I'd have to go to my dad's, and then I'm like not in my pajamas, and you're supposed to be in your pajamas all day on Christmas, and it's just like we're turning it into a whole thing. But everybody who even has together parents, like, they're still stressed about buying gifts. You can
Totally.
still not have money at Christmas. Like, you're like, you know, the kids are like, why is mom in a bad mood? They're like, oh, because grandma's coming. Like, they still, I don't know a single family where everyone in the family has like the best dynamic ever, and it's just the best time of their lives at Christmas. And nobody admits it, and nobody talks about it. So my vibes are like a sad Christmas and actually talking about the things
Love it.
that I went through.
That's the shit I want to blast on Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Not many people were like, yo, I want to do a Christmas album.
Yeah, nobody wants to. I've literally wanted to forever. And I called one of my best friends who I write with. Her name's Gina. And her parents were also divorced her whole life. And I'm like, dude. And she was like, I'm all over this. Like, we both were just coming up with the concepts together. Because I was like, there's only certain people I could write this with. The people who, like, even my producer who I was doing it with, midway through, I'm like, how did you grow up? He's like, oh, Christmas was great for us. Like, my parents were together. I was like, okay, so you're not relating to this.
Rub it in.
Yeah. But I have to write it with the people who, like, fully, really get it.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Is it true that you lived in your car at a
Okay,
certain point?
no, I didn't live in my car.
What is going on?
I lived with my friends. So, like, okay, backtrack.
So this
Yeah.
is like
This is
post-title?
like a year ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I basically went to LA for 4 months, like last March, and I moved all my stuff out of my room. And I was like, Mom, you can take my room. Because my mom was, like, sleeping on the couch for, like, multiple years, and I had the bedroom. And so when I left, I was like, look, I'm going away for 4 months. you just take the room. I'm not coming back. Like my thing was I'm gonna move to LA. It's gonna be great. Not really thinking of anything. And so when I came home, I was like, oh, I don't want to kick my mom like back out of the bedroom. Like that's so shady. And so all my best friends were like, you can just stay with us. So it was like summer. Everybody had just graduated. So I was like, okay, I'll just like live at my friend Sarah's house. And so I did that for like a while. And then every time I would go to the States or go to Europe and then come back, I would go stay at my friend Sarah's house. Like I literally like lived in her brother's room. Her mom's like my second mom because I didn't want to like kick my mom
Yeah, you can't do
back
that.
out, right? And so when Fingers Crossed dropped, I didn't really have anywhere to like do interviews. Like sometimes like her mom would be working at home or like, you know, she had to do stuff and I would literally take all my interviews and all like my record label meetings
In the car.
in my car in like the downtown parking lots. And then as of recently, I just moved into an apartment.
Congrats. In
Yeah,
Canada?
in Canada, in my hometown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you
So,
gonna
very
you're gonna
excited.
stay in Canada?
Yeah. It's like a big debate. Like I love my normal friends, my non-industry friends, and my mom and my
Keep it.
boyfriend, and they're all at home. So I think for the next little bit, just because I'm traveling so much, there's no point in me like
Do it.
living in LA and paying $10,000 a month to not be in my apartment, right? Like
No.
where I live on like an island, so it's kind of low key,
Stay
chill
there.
vibes. Yeah,
Don't
I'm
come
kind of
here.
loving it.
You'll be corrupted.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what everybody says.
Yeah, come when you want
Yeah.
and like yeah, go don't be here.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's the worst. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. And I like always forget about it. And then people are like, Lauren, like, do you not remember when you're like, you were in like a fight with like your siblings or something, and then like you just had to like run to your car and like take an interview in like a parking lot? And I'm like, no, I like completely forgot. They're like, that's like so crazy that you even did that. And now, because now I have like an office in my like apartment. Like I have my own room with a whole desk set up with a ring light, and I do all my meetings. And I've just like bypassed that I was like low key like a little bit homeless for a little bit and sleeping at my friends' houses.
Well, you also signed a major record deal.
Yeah. In the span of like in the middle of that, I was getting an apartment.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because Fingers Crossed blows up
Yeah.
and then the major comes a knocking.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so they were already knocking kind of before it was
Yeah.
dropped,
But you were doing your thing.
but we were like, okay, we're not doing anything until it drops because you never know.
Smart.
Yeah.
But because that changes everything too.
Yeah. I mean, this is what happened is it did really well. And so then I'm like more important essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it grew. You did
Yeah.
your thing with it before any major came in.
Mm-hmm. Which is so crazy to me. Like a lot of my friends that have had songs like that, it blew up, but then, you know, they put some money behind it or they paid certain influencers
Yeah.
to make a sound to it. Like we literally didn't pay $1 for anything with Fingers Crossed. It was just like straight, everybody just really liked it and was making videos to it, which is like the most insane part.
There is like a whole community of artists that have used TikTok
Mm-hmm.
as a way to originate music.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my great friends is Clinton Kane.
Oh, I love him.
I mean, he is. It's like it, like I like get goose, like it makes me
His
like
vo-
I want to vomit. Like,
No, I
thinking about
literally
it.
like
It's
any
crazy.
session I join, they're like, okay, like, is there a reference track? I'm like Clinton Kane, Clinton Kane, Clinton Kane, anything Clinton Kane. Like I love his music, everything he writes about. His voice is insane.
But there is like a community of artists that have really used TikTok.
Yeah,
I mean, Clinton Kane,
Tate McRae.
Tate McRae. I mean,
Yeah.
but Tate was around a little bit. Like Tate did
Yeah.
her thing before. Claire Rosencrantz.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so many of us.
It's crazy. But you're one of the pioneers.
I kind of love it.
It's pretty
Even,
sick.
Like Lil Nas.
Well, yeah,
Did
he. I mean, God, Lil Nas X did the thing.
Yeah.
Does
I
it-
wish I was on the thing when Lil Nas was on the thing. Like he started like right when it started, and I was kind of like doing covers on TikTok, and then like slowly transitioned into it. But if you're like one of the people that like really really does it at the beginning, like the app just boosts you so much.
It changes. Yeah, it could change your life.
Yeah.
But are you afraid of the algorithm at all? Like, what's your relationship
Absolutely.
like with it?
Love it, love hate. Right now I'm in a loving mood. I love the algorithm. It has been so great to me the last 6 months. Like I haven't knock on wood.
There's an actual piece
I
of it right
haven't
there.
gone through a phase of like a whole month where my views were like crazy down
Great.
and I wasn't gaining. Like I've been in a nice upsell recently, but it's terrifying because one day you might think your 30-second videos are working and then you have no idea it switches to 7 second videos and all your videos are flopping and all the content you've made the last month is useless because it's not 7 seconds. Like things just switch so quick, especially on TikTok.
Scary.
Yeah, very scary. It's kind of like at any moment, like your promotion could just absolutely go downhill and your song like won't do well.
That's a common thread amongst all the artists that utilize TikTok and
Yeah.
have gotten known from it, is like there is a fear, but also there's a want to get to a place where you don't need to utilize TikTok as a way
Yeah.
to market
That's the goal.
and promote your music.
The goal is I'm not known as the girl from TikTok.
But I don't think you
Yeah.
necessarily are.
Yeah, I don't think I am, but I think there's a lot of people that are like, "Are you that girl from TikTok?" And like, no one goes up to Ariana and is like, "Oh my God, are you from like Victorious?" They're just like, "You're Ariana Grande."
Just being honest, like for a long time they did.
Yeah, and so my goal is to like slowly transition and just be Lauren Spencer Smith. And when they're like, "How did she start again?" Someone's like, "I think she started on TikTok." Like that's kind of the goal. But I don't really think when it comes to my music, anything else in life, I'm always thinking about the negatives. I'm like, what if this happens? What if that happens? But with my music, I'm always like, I don't care what happens because whatever happens, I'm going to be fine because I'm going to find a new way. I'm going to make it happen. Like, if TikTok deleted tomorrow, I'd be like racking in on every other social media platform, waiting for the new platform. Like, I would be upset, but I'd be like, I'm going to find a way to make it happen without TikTok. And so I try not to think about what if the app gets deleted. I'm like,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
just going to use it as much as I possibly can to my advantage until hopefully it stays around forever, like Facebook.
What is the fuel and the motivation behind that? Like, is it the want to just share your music? Is it the want to like just write down and create your own emotions
Yeah.
into songs?
It's like, I feel like it's a mix of both. But I feel like, one, I feel like I've kind of always been like that. Like, my parents will always say, like, if you tell Lauren she's not going to do something, she's going to go do it just to prove you wrong. Like, that is definitely a big part of it. And I feel like a lot of the times growing up, there were so many people that told me I wouldn't do it. So I think I never think to myself, I'm going to do this because somebody told me I can't. But I think that's in the back of my mind as, like, fuel. Like, it's kind of like, I just finished watching, like, the Michael Jordan series. Like, one person will say, like, oh, good game. And he's like, it's on. Like, one person could be like, oh, like, I've never heard your music. And I'm like, I need to make everybody in the world
No.
know this. Like, I'm just so. Also, I think maybe, too, I didn't really grow up with a lot. Like, I didn't really grow up with a lot of money and a lot of things. And so I've always just wanted to be, like, super successful and, like, buy my mom a house and, like, just also be successful to a point where I can, like, make a difference and make a change and, like, give back to people. And, like, I'd, like, couldn't join sports sometimes unless, like, somebody helped pay for it. So, like, I want to be the person that, like, if I have kids when I'm older and their friend can't afford to join soccer, I'm like, don't worry, Lauren's got it. Here's your soccer. Like, always wanted to just be super successful for those reasons too. But it's weird because even when I'm successful, I'm like, all I want to do is hit 3 million on TikTok. The second I hit it, I'm like, not even excited. And I'm like, 4 million. Like, I never
That's
even take
good.
a moment.
Complacency
Yeah.
and comfort equals death.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone's like, you don't even like celebrate your moments. I'm like, because I'm already on the next goal.
Great. I was the exact same way when I was your
Yeah.
age, and it was amazing.
I kind of love it. I just feel so like I always want to work. I always want to do things.
Don't change that. Don't get
Yeah.
old, because it
Yeah.
could change a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was like it's almost like a blind. It's like it's naive, but like who gives a
Yeah.
like you just go for it.
Exactly. Everyone always
just
says
do.
to me like, oh, like, weren't you ever scared to be a singer? And like the answer was no. Like I walked around everywhere my whole life being like, I'm gonna be a singer. And people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles. They're like, when? I'm like, I don't know. When I'm 19, I'm gonna sing outside a record label until somebody notices me. And everyone was like, what the hell? Like I'm like, if you want to do something,
Do it.
just do it. Like there's so many ways to make something happen. If that way doesn't work, find a new way. Like you can do whatever you want in life if you're willing to make it happen.
Amen. It's true.
It is.
And I
It
honestly
really
think
is.
like it's something that like is kind of new to our generation or your generation than like the younger side of my generation. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're like Generation Z, super Z.
Yeah.
But I'm like the younger side of millennials. And
Yeah.
the democratization of content creation and the changing of like what it means to make a video and share a video or make audio and share audio, like it's changed the world.
Yeah.
Like the concept that anybody can create or do whatever they have sitting in their head and then also in the same breath get it out there to the fucking world
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. I love it too. A lot of my drive I think also comes from like I'm so like a therapist friend. Like everybody calls me for advice. Everybody wants to know what I think on it. And so, like, I'll go through a situation or a breakup, and the one thing I want to do is take everything I learned from it and help other people. And so I get to do that in my songs. Is that I'm like, oh, people like listen to Fingers Crossed. They're like, oh, I just realized like the guy I dated actually was kind of a shithead and he didn't treat me right. And when he told me he loved me, I don't think he meant it. And I'm like, great, that is exactly what I wanted you to come to the conclusion of when I dropped this song. Like, I love helping people, and I know the more people get to listen to my music, a lot of the songs I've been writing too have been very. I didn't even write them for myself. I wrote them because I was like, if somebody else is going through this, I want them to know I've been through it, and like, how do we make that into one song? And so when they listen to it, they feel comforted.
Do you get anything from finishing a song?
Yes, 100%. Like, I'll write something that's going on in my life and feel completely okay about the situation after I've written it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but also probably because I overshare in the session, and then like the writers
Eh.
like comforting me and giving me life advice, and then by the end of like the 5 hours, I've like low-key had a therapy session and written a song.
Have you ever thought about taking stories from other people's lives and turning it into music?
I recently did that, actually. One of my friends, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but whatever. She like got broken up with, and I'm like, why'd he break up with you? And she was like, my boyfriend just told me like he like didn't think I was pretty anymore.
Oh my
Jaw
God.
dropped when I heard that. I was like, first off, if anybody tells you that, to the curb, ladies.
People suck.
People seriously suck. And so I wrote a song called Pretty, and the ending of the song is like, are you stupid or was I not pretty enough? And so the whole concept is like completely not about my life.
Do you feel accomplished? What do you feel after that?
I definitely feel a little bit less accomplished than when I write something about myself.
Really?
In a way, because I feel like when I'm writing something about myself, I just feel so connected to it because it's mine. Whereas I still feel accomplished when I write something about something else, but it doesn't feel as personal to me, which I think in a weird way like disconnects me from the music.
I understand that.
Like sometimes people will send you demos and be like, I really think I could hear you on this. But just the fact that like I'm not relating to what the song's about, I'm like, this song's amazing and it's fire, and I think another artist is probably gonna make this a #1 hit. But for some reason I can't get behind it because it's not about me.
But with a cover, did you have like a strategy or a technique behind breaking it down and tackling it? Because obviously you made songs that didn't sound like yours, sound like yours.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I would look up like some karaoke version, and then I would like slow it down and then sing to that, and then that would kind of turn into because even Always Remember Us This Way is slower than the original. I think, or it's a lower key or something like that. I would like sing it in whatever way. A lot of it was my mom too. Like I would sing it to her in a certain way. She'd be like, "Don't sing it like that. Like you sound too much like Lady Gaga when you sing it that way." And I'd be like, "Okay." She's like, "Sing it how you sing it." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'd re-sing it again. She'd be like, "That's the way. That's the way to sing it."
That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, your story's wild. And you're Canadian.
I love it. Go Canada.
I love Canada.
I'm wearing the Canadian colors.
Dude, Canada's the greatest country. Filled with the greatest people.
Everybody's nice.
Yeah.
Like I live in British Columbia, so like the wilderness is just amazing. The trees, the nature.
They make really good bud there. BC bud. They're famous for it.
I didn't even know that.
They are. I know.
Yeah.
I got you. I mean, you're 18. You shouldn't know.
I'm not legally old enough, actually.
Yeah, it's 21.
It's 19. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In America, it's 21.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
I'm not really actually even into that scene whatsoever, but it's like, to know I'm not allowed bothers me. Like when someone tells you can't do something, you want to do it. So I'm like, that's so annoying. Like,
you don't really want to do it.
yeah, no, not at all.
But just because you can't, you want.
But just because I can't. Exactly.
So, American Idol, just why'd you do it? Were you afraid? Like it is crazy. You may be one of the most successful things to have come out of American Idol in recent years.
I actually haven't even thought of that.
Oh, it's true.
I actually had someone I was working with that just really wanted me to do the show. And there wasn't really like any Canadian options really, unless like I went to Europe or something like that.
City TV, I think, airs American Idol in Canada, right?
Yeah, it's like everyone I knew had to like go get the channel when I was like going on it, because it like wasn't just a thing that's like on the TV. But I had someone I was working with, and they just really wanted me to do it, and then I kind of started looking into it a lot more. I had obviously watched it and watched all the YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, sure, let's audition. And I just kind of like went and did it. I didn't even like think twice. I was like, okay, I'll just audition. And I just auditioned, and the next thing you know, I was on the show, and I was like, great, now I want to win.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you have a date for the album?
No, not yet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about tour?
I know I'm doing like some shows and some festivals this year. Pretty sure I'm doing some shows in like LA and New York at some point. Don't have
Ooh,
dates for that yet though either. And then I might be doing some shows like with some other artists debatably in like September. But I'm definitely hoping to do my own tour for my own album next year.
exciting.
Yeah.
So, like, next single, Flowers?
Yeah. That's the next one.
That's exciting.
I'm so excited.
How do you know a song's done?
That's a great question. I actually don't usually leave sessions with like out the song. Not like fully done, like you need it mastered, you want to make sure the vocals are right, but like just for the songwriting process and like the vision of what we want it to sound like I won't leave the session until like we've done the lyrics, we've done all the melodies, and we know exactly what we want.
Have you ever left a session because you knew you weren't getting anything?
I wish. Usually, what happens was I just would like blatantly be bored and like half-ass write the rest of the song, and they'd be like, "Great, we're done," and then you never listen to the song again. I wish I was that person that had the courage to mid-session be like, "This isn't working," but I usually just like finish it, and then I'm like, "Oh, I should have said something," but I almost feel worse saying something mid-session.
Because then you feel like you offended them.
Yeah, and it's just I might as well finish it and then be like, I didn't make it." You know what I mean? Like just keep everything neutral and nice, but I haven't had that happen in a really long time actually.
Are you selective on who you choose to work with?
Yes and no. There's certain like personality types that I feel like I connect with better with. Like if they're like I don't know, random example. Oh, we have this person who's like super like, oh, she's a female and she's also like, she's exactly like you. She's like super outgoing and likes to be the leader in the room. I'm like, I already know that's not going to work
No.
because there's two leaders now. Like, I love writing with people that are just like timid and like really can like pull the story out of you. For the longest time, when I started writing, like just over a year ago, all I wanted to do was do a session with like basically somebody new all the time because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn who I liked writing with, how other people write, to learn what my writing style was. Now I feel like after doing all that for about a year, I've nailed down how I like to write. So therefore, when I'm picking who I write with, I make sure that they like to write the same way that I do. So we're connected lyrically and just melodically and concept wise.
You know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, but I definitely will mainly honestly work with anyone. If someone was like, this person's really great, here's some of their stuff, I'm like, set it up. Yeah.
Do you do that to learn?
Yeah, usually to learn. I love writing with, like, I have some core people that I'm like, these are my people. I could have sessions with them at any moment and something great is going to come out. But I do like incorporating new people to learn.
What is your writing flow? Like, even though you're going to release an album before the end of the year,
Yeah,
will you keep making music?
probably. Yeah. There's times where we're like, okay, buckle down, session every day for 2 weeks, like songs. And then there's times where I'm like, there's nothing going on, guys. I'm just in love and I'm calm. Like, you need to give me a month. I need to get in a couple fights. Like, I need some concepts in my life. But anytime something happens, I always want to write about it. Like, you randomly said excuses, and I'm like, that's a song title. I'm already like, I want to write excuses.
Will you write on your own and then go to sessions with notes?
If I have a bunch of sessions at once, I'm not walking in with like a paragraph of what I think it should be.
Yeah.
I'm like, here are the concepts I've been thinking. Let's come up with something. But most of the time, I walk in being like, I really want to write a song called this, and it's about this, this, and this. How can we make that? And they're like, great, let's do it. Piano or guitar? I'm like, piano. Like, usually I have written out what I want it to be about. And sometimes that changes when the other writer's like, what if we flop that? Or what if we call it trees? Like, sometimes somebody flops and you're like, that's a wonderful idea. Oh my God, let's do that instead. But most of the time I have an idea of what I want to say.
And how do you decide if it starts on a piano or a guitar?
Honestly, right now, I'm in a phase where I'm like, how many piano songs do we have on the album? How many guitars? What are we missing? Do we need an upbeat? Like, I'm kind of being like, we can't have a whole album of just piano or like just guitar, just all of one thing. So I'm trying to even it out. But most of the time, it's like if I've been listening to Go to Hell by Clinton Kane on repeat, I'm like, I want to write a song like Go to Hell. Like, or I'm listening to Julia Michaels, JP Sachs, If the World Was Ending. I'm like, can we write a piano sad song? It usually depends on what I'm inspired by.
Vibe.
And then I'm like, hey, can we do a similar vibe to this?
Did I see you at Tate McRae's concert?
Yeah, probably.
Like on the roof?
Yeah, were you there?
I was there, but I didn't know if it
Like
was
the
you
first
or
night?
not. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, I was totally there.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was there that night.
Literally everybody was there.
Yeah, Olivia
Like,
Rodrigo
it
was
insane.
there.
I know.
Who else was there?
Gail was there. Addison Rae was there.
Addison Rae
Addison Rae
there.
and all her friends, whose names I forget, but they're definitely, I've seen them on the internet, so I know that they're people. And who else was there? Alexander 23 was there.
I love him.
I saw him, and I was like, I wanted to say something so bad. And,
Oh, you should have.
That's just what everyone said to me. They were like, Lauren, you're going to miss the moment. Like, you should say something. I was like, I don't know. I can't. Like, I'm breaking out. But I love him.
Oh, now I want to introduce you to.
He has a song on his TikTok that he hasn't released, and I want him to release it so bad. It's like, guess the hardest part of getting old is that some people that you love don't. And it's about how, like, I think someone passed away in his life. Oh. And he's like, the hardest part about growing up is that not everybody grows up with you. Yeah. And I was like, dang. Like that. You need to release this right now so I can cry to it.
Dude, please.
Yeah. Where's he at? Wow. I will promote it for him.
Yeah, now I'm going to cry just thinking about it. What the
The lyrics were, like, insane. Like,
The Tease works.
It does.
Alexander 23. He's the best.
He seems like the best. But, like, in his moment, his aura just seemed, like, super, like, chill. And, like, I'm Alexander 23, and I was like, I'm scared. Like, he's, like, tall. Like, I'm intimidated. He's really talented. Like, I was too scared to go up to him. And I kind of regret it now, but at the same time, I'm like, if I went back, I probably still wouldn't have because I would have been nervous. And, like, sometimes people don't like when you, like, fangirl.
That's, like, nonsense.
Yeah.
I think everybody really... First of all, it's coming from you.
Second, I don't know if he, like, knows me. Like, he might just be like, this is a random girl.
I think he probably knows you.
Yeah.
I think he, like, has his finger on, like, the pulse of culture. Like, a little bit.
I hope.
Me too.
But I didn't want to, like... I don't know. I didn't want to bother him. He's like middle of watching Tate, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I love you! Can you please release that song on TikTok?"
Oh no, you got to annoy them like on the roof.
Yeah, but I saw him up there too, and I was still like,
yeah, that was your moment.
Oh, he just looked intimidating. I was scared.
Now I hope to be in the same room as you one day.
Yeah.
Or I was gonna say I'll FaceTime him, but I don't want like maybe that's too embarrassing for you.
No, I feel like I'd be awkward. I'd be so awkward.
I'm here.
He would be like, "Hey," and you'd be like, "I have a fan," and I'd be like,
"It's not how that is not your introduction."
And he'd be like, "Oh, hey," and it'd be so awkward.
That's not that. No. Has anybody reached out to you though? I mean, like your DMs must have some cool people in there.
Yeah.
Did Olivia Rodrigo reach out to you?
No.
No.
But I saw her on the roof.
Did you say hi?
I don't think she remembers me at all because I'm probably like irrelevant in her life. But I was talking to like Mimi, and she came up to Mimi, and then she was like, "Nice to meet you, I'm Olivia." And then we actually ended up Mimi took a selfie of all three of us. And then like the next day it was like in magazines being like, Lauren Sister Smith, Mimi, and Olivia hanging out at the Tate McRae show. And I was like, this girl does not know me. Like, there's no way she remembered my name, like, whatsoever. But I love her and her music. Like,
she's great.
Yeah.
Wow, we've covered a lot here. Mimi Webb.
Yeah.
Alexander 23.
Yeah, maybe. Who else messaged me? Dan from Dan and Shay. Oh. You know who that is? I love them.
They're so... I love you too. They're so good.
Angels.
Yeah.
I love
and
them.
The nicest people.
He seemed so nice. Like, I was like, oh my God, 16-year-old me would be crying. I couldn't get tickets to your show. And he was like, you let me know anytime. We'll give you free tickets. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, thanks. Who else reached out? Julia Michaels.
Oh, that's a big deal for you.
I like cried. I was freaking out. Like, I'm just so obsessed with her. I'm now, like, Clinton Kane. I know Clinton Kane now.
He's the best.
JP Sachs, Ryan Tedder. Now I write with Ryan Tedder.
Have you done a session with him?
Yeah, I've done a few.
What was that? What have you learned from him?
I did it with him and Michael Pollock. And yeah, Michael's also insane.
Michael's one of the greatest people ever, but also one of the greatest writers like of our generation.
Yep.
My generation. Again, you're young.
I just watched them do stuff, and I'm like, wow.
Is that true?
The song's done. They're just so good. Like, Michael just comes up with, like, the whole thing at once. And you're like, that was such an Ed Sheeran move of you. Like, that was so insane. But they're such a duo. It's so weird, though. Like, I even said to Ryan, like, I had one of my really close friends when I was in, like, grade 10 passed away. And the stuff I listened to was like Only One Republic, and like I had like 2 specific songs that got me through it. And like mid-session I'm like, Ryan, I just have to say, like, you really got me through my friend's death. And he's like, oh my God, what? And like even then I'll be sitting there just looking at Ryan, and I'm like, I totally did the solo of Counting Stars in choir. And I'm like, that's just so weird that now I'm like sitting in front of Ryan Tedder. Such like so many deja vu moments when I'm around.
Your sessions with Ryan Tedder, is it always with Michael, or is it just
Yeah, it has been.
really
These last
everyone?
couple times. There was another one. Who else was in it? I think his name was Andrew. That could be wrong.
Any songs for the album?
I think so. I think there's at least one.
Ooh,
There's just so many that I don't know right now. There's like 5 that I'm like, that's for sure on the album. Everybody agrees with it, and the rest are like, tomorrow may not be promised.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Ryan Tedder.
It's just so, like, that kind of stuff just goes so over your head. Like, when I'm sitting there with Ryan, I don't think I'm with the Ryan Tedder from One Republic. I'm just like, oh, I'm in a session. And
Yeah.
like, a week later, I'm like, that's so weird. Like, what the hell? That was the Ryan Tedder. Yeah.
Just making art with a peer.
Yeah. Just writing songs with the guy who has every #1 hit in the world. And then when you go use his bathroom, the Adele Grammy's on the toilet. And you're like, okay, I'm in a superstar's house. So
a
weird.
reminder.
Yeah, just a reminder that he did win a Grammy.
It's awesome.
So crazy.
By the way, please listen to Lauren Spencer Smith's music. There's going to be a link in the description below. Flowers is the single that is coming.
Yeah.
Pre-save
Download
it.
it.
Link below too.
Yes.
That's really exciting.
I'm so excited. It's one of those songs that I'm like, out of all my songs, I think it's in my top 3 favorite songs I've ever written.
Where does Fingers Crossed fall in that?
I would say that's in the top 3 as well, probably. But that also might be being influenced by the fact that it did really well. But at the time, I was extremely connected to Fingers Crossed, and the reason I wrote it.
It's a good song.
Thank you.
I think it's a great song.
I remember leaving the session and just like thinking like, dang, like this one like seems a lot better than the rest of the other songs I've written.
To you, what sounded different?
It just, the melodies just sounded really catchy, and a couple of the lyrics seemed very spot on, like saying like, I want all the tears back that I cried. I was like, I've never said something like that. Like, for a while when I was writing, I felt like I was writing basic, writing what everyone has written in a normal pop tune, whereas midway through writing, I started like listening to JP Saxon, Julia Michaels even more, and just realizing how specific they were with things. And then I started to be really specific, and Fingers Crossed was one of those like first couple sessions of me being like, I need to be specific about what happened to me and really say it in the lyrics.
And do you keep that moving forward?
Yeah, I do that all the time. I'm like, we need to say, I have one song and the opening line is like, showed up at my house at 8 o'clock because my boyfriend picked me up at 8. Like, I'm like, let's tell exactly what happened in specific form so people can like envision themselves in the moment.
Genius is in details.
Yeah.
It's also what sets people apart.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Being normal is boring.
Nah, but like
Yeah.
focusing on details and being yourself and like
It makes it easier to write the song. Because then they're like, what are we writing about? I'm like, okay, we're writing about Matt, which is my boyfriend. I'm like, great. He showed up at 8. He looked cute. And I'm like, then the whole song is like, you brought me flowers looking all dressed up, are the next words. I'm like, great. Like, let's say how I was really overwhelmed because he was cute. I didn't know if I could fall in love. And then, like, we are just writing lyrics about exactly what happened. Like, it's so easy to tell the story when you're actually telling the story and you're not making stuff up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Scary to be honest, or are you just over that?
I'm, like, such an oversharer. It's not even funny. So I'm, like, I'm that person that keeps talking and then people are like, Lauren, you can't just, like, tell everybody your personal business like that. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I don't really get scared, to be honest. I almost have to pull back being like, the person I wrote this about, is this, like, offending them?
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, what if I write this? Is that, like, shady that I just, like, gave the exact story? But then I'm like, nobody would know. Like, I definitely think about it because I'm way too honest in my songs.
Nobody would know except for that person that's
Yeah.
about.
And then I'm like, is that bad?
No.
Yeah.
Do they deserve it?
A little bit, nah.
Well,
Yes and no.
it's really interesting. Like you mentioned the Joshua Bassett interview, and we're talking about writing music about people, and I took a very hard stance in that conversation.
Yeah.
But mostly just about like, not about writing about people in your art. I think you should, gosh, it's your art. It's whatever is you. You should share whatever you feel comfortable. But it is interesting, like writing music about people and then letting people kind of interpret the rest.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there and then just like walking away.
I always tell people, like, if my fans randomly discovered who Fingers Crossed was about, I would go on the internet and lie and be like, it's not about them. We're still friends. What are y'all are playing? or at least post on my story and be like, can we please spread kindness? Like, yes, I think I have permission to write about whatever I want to write about because I went through it, but also having that amount of followers, like, it is also, you should try your best to not let people destroy other people. Like, I didn't write a song about somebody so my fans would
Go after them.
obliterate them on the internet, and now they have no life and they don't want to walk in the street. Like, that's not my goal. My goal is to just talk about my emotions and completely avoid that anybody would know it's about somebody.
But like, right, heal yourself, and then allow other people to
Exactly.
find themselves in the art and heal themselves as well.
Like, the art's not about them, it's about the healing process.
It's not an excuse for hate.
Yeah. I don't think the person I like wrote it about deserves to be, you know,
Thrown under the
attacked
bus
on the internet. Yeah, like, I don't think they deserve that. I want everyone, even if I feel like they did me wrong, to like do well in life and find themselves. Like, I would never want someone like, I'm doing well, so why would I like wish hate on somebody? Also, like, if that person didn't do it to me, I wouldn't have fingers crossed. So I'm like, thank you for the trauma.
Yeah, your life changed because of it in the best way.
Yeah.
All of your dreams are coming true. Is that fair?
Weird. Yeah, they really are. A lot of them have already come true.
Do you have like a list? Like
I did, and I have ticked off almost everything on the list, other
Really?
than like selling out certain stadiums and
We'll
stuff
get
like
there.
that. But like, I always wanted like, I don't know, like my song to be in the top 40 radio, or like I wanted to be like, the only things like, I have to make a new list. Like, when I first started meeting with people after Fingers Crossed, like label wise, they're like, what's your list? And I would be like, oh, I want to be on a billboard in Times Square, and like little lists like that. And like, now they're like, what's on your list? I'm like, I don't know. We crossed everything off. I need bigger goals.
Is
like,
Rogers Stadium or Arena on your list?
like where I live?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big
I really want to sell out Rogers, and I want to sell out BC Place.
Cool.
Usually BC Place doesn't do music as much. It's more like sporting events, but I saw One Direction at BC Place, and they sold that shit out. So I'm like,
You're next.
I'm next, or 2 nights at Rogers in a row,
Sick.
or Wembley Stadium.
Oh, goosebumps I got right now.
Yeah.
I want to come see you at Rogers. That's going to happen.
Yeah, you're there.
Manifest this shit on the
Backstage.
couch.
I am. Seriously, I have a book. I write in it all the time.
Dude, I mean,
Yeah.
it's real.
It is.
But even like you were talking about it earlier in the conversation, like you just saying that you're going to be a singer, you're going to move to LA with like absolute certainty.
I just manifest things. Like, everyone in my life always says, they're like, Lauren, anything you say, I have no doubt you're going to do it. Like, some way, shape, or form, you write it down 10 times and you dedicate the next however many months or years of your life to completing that one thing that you manifested.
It'll
like,
happen.
it just so happens if you manifest. Believe it.
Lauren Spencer Smith, an honor talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Please listen to her music. There's a link in the description below.
Yeah.
Pre-save flowers. Also, there's a link down there to do it. And yeah, I think I covered, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Come back whenever you want.
I will be back for sure.
You have an open
The album. When the album drops and I sell out Rogers,
Oh yeah.
we'll back.
You know what? Yeah, come back for the album. Come back for Rogers. You have a lot of things to come back for.
I know.
I feel like you're going to be releasing music for a very long time.
I hope so. I have a lot to say. I'm just an emotional wreck, so I always have problems. Like, I'm gonna end up writing songs about like spilling milk on the floor.
Well, you're in a good place right now. Like, do you ever get afraid that you're not going to experience enough shit to write about?
Sometimes, like, I've been in a weird phase lately where I haven't been like crazy sad. Like how sad I was when I wrote Fingers Crossed and most of the songs on my album. I'm not sad like that, and so I'm like, where is my inspiration coming for album 2?
Wherever you're at now.
Somebody needs to F me up because I need to write a second album.
You're down to suffer just for art?
I'm down to suffer for art. But I think there's other things I could write about that I haven't fully tapped into. Because I've been like, it's okay, we can write the first one about boys. I don't need to get into anything else. Whereas, like, my writers know my life story. And they're like, Lauren, there's so much we've been trying to get you to write about, but you won't write about it yet. So maybe when album 2 comes around, I'll be, like, willing to open up about that stuff.
Slow and steady.
Yeah. Slow. Extremely slow.
Lauren Spencer Smith, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Whee!